The situation is heating up for Kevin McCarthy, as we've discussed, in his bid to become the next Speaker of the House. So the background on this, Republicans are going to take over the majority in the House. And that means that one of the individuals could become the Speaker of the House from the Republican Party. And usually in a situation like this, the person who led the party in the minority, being Kevin McCarthy, would take over as the leader of the party and become the majority leader. But certain individuals in kind of the furthest right part of the Republican Party don't want that. They feel like Kevin McCarthy, this isn't their term, but what I get from them is he's not radical enough for them, even though I see him as plenty radical. And so they're trying to stand against him. And there's 5 who have spoken out aggressively, which would block him rising to the speakership. So here's him getting asked about this. Hey, what could you do? What could you present to them to change their mind? And then we'll look at one other individual's take on this.
What is it that you are able to say to them that is going to change them at this point to get you to 218?
Well, we have to listen, but you have to listen to everybody in the conference, because 5 people on any side can stop anything when you're in the majority. I think when you look at the past history, when Paul Ryan ran, he had more people vote against him in the conference, and then they voted for him on the floor. We got 5 more weeks. We're working through our conference rules today. We want to.
I don't know if everyone gets this vibe off of him or not, and this is not important. This is just a little petty thing. But especially because I've watched a lot of clips of him and a lot of footage of him, even though he's not talking to me, every time I hear him talk, I feel patronized. I feel patronized by him. He's so manufactured and fake. It's strange. We just
make sure that everybody has input, but we have to speak as one voice. We will only be successful if we work together, or we'll lose individually. This is very fragile, that we're the only stopgap for this Biden administration. And if we don't do this right, the Democrats can take the majority. If we play games on the floor, the Democrats can end up picking who the speaker is. So I think at the end of the day, calmer heads will prevail. We'll work together to find the best path forward.
Okay, so he's trying to project confidence, but as of now, he is in crisis mode. Just, don't be misled by that public appearance of confidence, because it is clear that if the vote was held today, he would not become Speaker of the House. And people are very aggressively against him, namely Matt Gaetz and some of these other House Freedom Caucus individuals. Again, the very furthest right part of the Republican Party, very unhinged, but they're standing against his rise to speakership. And Dan Crenshaw, who's known as a little bit more of a moderate Republican, is very unhappy with the way that these House Freedom Caucus members are threatening Kevin McCarthy's speakership, and he thinks it's completely unserious, as he articulates on Fox News.
Attention, real quick, is Kevin McCarthy going to be able to get the votes to become Speaker? He's about 5 short now, I think, at least.
Yeah, look, I don't know what kind of games these 5 are playing. They don't have a plan, right? They don't have anybody else in mind. I think they just want attention and notoriety. They need to get off this little high horse of theirs. Let's just be honest with everybody. There is no nobility in what's happening with this. There's no greater cause. McCarthy's our guy. We voted for him in conference. We need to vote for him when the time comes. Like, what are you going to end up with otherwise? He has been doing everything right. You know what? He's the one who was out there trying to win elections so that we'd have a bigger majority. He's the one who was out there raising money. Those people who don't want to vote for him, what did they do? Nothing. They did nothing to help us win those majorities and win those elections. I don't want to hear it.
Right.
Okay, it's strange that he says that, because yes, Republicans did barely win the House majority. But it was expected for them to do so much better. So I don't think giving credit to McCarthy as this great election triumph leader is particularly accurate. But I also recognize that from the standpoint of what's best for the Republican Party, probably uniting around the person who's currently the leader of your party in the House is the right thing to do strategically. And it's not helpful to be divided in this type of moment, and it could lead to pretty devastating outcomes for their party in the House. But all around, very interesting. We'll continue to follow it. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before any of the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get access to an extra full show every Saturday that only members can see, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley, and there is a link in the description.